Hello and welcome back to the Penno channel. It's been a long summer. We haven't been here, but we're back now. I'm back with Ads. How you doing, Ads?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. Just looking forward
You
to the new
ready?
season, man.
You ready for this new season?
I'm looking forward to the Villa being back, man. It's good to get back into this with them.
It's a huge season for us. We've just got ourselves our Conference League tickets, ready for that game. Hibernian are currently playing now against. Is it? How do you pronounce it? Louvren. Is that how it's pronounced?
I've been saying like Luzerne in
Luzerne,
like
is
the
it Luzerne? Anyway,
Luzerne.
Luzerne. I saw they took about 50 people there today, didn't they? So I don't know what the score is currently, but yeah, we'll be playing against one of those. And yeah, we're back here now. Premier League starts this weekend. Newcastle preview. Huge game to start things off. Don't have the greatest record there, but you know, new season, new spirits. Continue on from where we left off last year. Good pre-seasoning. But first, we have to start with what's happened today, the news that's been announced, and that's the Emmy ACL injury. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh no, it's crazy because there were rumors on Twitter last night, and I didn't really want to believe it. I just thought it was just one of them. You know, you get like your just standard injury rumor before the season happens, just to get people worried. But yeah, it turns out to be true, and it's just a massive blow. Not just the player, but like the type of injury as well.
It's a huge blow, considering we've already got Ramsey and Moreno injured on that left-hand side. We've seen bits of one of our new signings, Pau Torres, play there, which we'll go into in a bit later. We've seen him play there. You've got Digne as an option, obviously, and then the left midfield kind of looked like, you know, Philogene and Badace had been playing there through pre-season, but it looked like Buendia, that was going to be his spot, and he was going to start going into the Newcastle game. So to just training, freak injury, ACL, you're looking at what, 3 to 6 months minimum?
Yeah.
Depends how severe the injury is, but 3 to 6 months without a key player. Was looking through. He played all 38 games last year. He didn't start them all, but he played in all 38 games. So it's a huge loss. It's a massive loss going into the season. Literally 2 days before we kick off. Well, if it happened the day before, yeah, huge. So where do we go from there then? And it's a strange one, really, as well. If you think of the South American contingent, I was thinking this today. If you think of the South American contingent, Diego Carlos, Achilles, Buendia, not ACL, Coutinho, injured for half the season. You got Moreno, long-term injury. It's mad, isn't it? Like, it's only Martinez. You've got Pau Torres in there now and Douglas Luiz that haven't got injured from that contingent. It's just incredibly.
Duran got injured as well, didn't he?
Yeah, so we've had some mad injuries going for, you know, Duran. You've got Moreno now, Ramsey, Buendia. Eric Boonen's had surgery.
Dendonker's still out.
Dendonker, who knows what's going on with Dendonker. Yeah, just a lot of injuries, and we're going to have to step back into the market for sure. And we heard our sporting director discuss that today. But yeah, the Buendia injury is it's a huge, huge loss for us. And now it's a chance for us to, you know, try something new. Philogene possibly getting his first start, or do we experiment and go into that 4-3-3 with a Tillemans, Luiz, Kamara midfield, and then have Diaby and McGinn operating off the wings. Obviously, it's fluid, but that's how it could look on paper. What do you think to that?
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Emery's side. It's like it's all circumstantial. It depends on the team that we're playing. It's determined by if we're home or away, the type of players that are available. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the 4-3-3 on paper to start with. But my prediction is that we are going to play the free build with Torres starting as a left back on paper, but coming inside to cover that space. Cash will bomb forward. And with Buendia, it was only really that left hand side that was up for grabs.
Yeah,
I'd say. McGinn's
Same.
got the right hand side locked
He's
down.
not going to be playing behind Watkins like he was last season.
Oh
'Cause
no
Diaby's
chance.
got
So
that now. Yeah.
it was between Bailey, Buendia, and Philogene potentially, even though he didn't play that side on pre-season much for that spot. So my thinking is, I think we'll play the same lineup we did against Valencia, but I think Bailey's now going to get more game time. Will be my prediction. I mean, the only other alternatives he could do, which he hasn't been able to test in pre-season, is having a pivot of Tillemans and Kamara, who have had minutes together. To be fair, playing as the two. And then have Louise push further forward on the left.
Yeah.
Because defensively he can cover Powell, who's going to need the cover. He's better defensively than Bailey. He still offers the protection on transition, and he can still add creatively to the side. We saw him get 13 goals and assists last season, close to that.
That's the thing. If we were going to play Emmy off the left anyway in that area, why can't a Douglas Luiz go out there? You know, they're not similar players in essence, but Douglas Luiz can be just as creative. We know that. It might be a loss further in the middle, because he was huge for us in that position, and playing him out of position. We might lose a bit there, but needs must at the minute. And from a lot of comments anyway throughout pre-season, and from what I've seen as well, Yuri Tillemans has been one of our best players in pre-season.
100%.
He's really stepped up. So losing Louise out wide a bit further and bringing Tielemans in, I don't think we lose much there.
Yeah.
If we were going to be playing Emmy starting Emmy left mid.
My only problem is I wish we would have seen it in pre-season, at least tried once. I think
agree.
Not to question Emery at all, he's done everything right and he knows about a billion more times about football than me. But I was thinking at the time, I'd love to just see it happen for 30 minutes in a game, that we play the quad CMs of McGinn, Louise, Tillemans, Kamara. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did happen, but I don't recall it. Yeah, Louise starting from the left, he can carry the ball, he can cross the ball, he can play the quick combination play, he can shoot. Defensively, he's better than Bailey. Yeah, I don't really think there's that much of a drop in floor in terms of quality, in terms of attributes for that position. But yeah, maybe Emery sees it differently. Maybe Emery trusts Louise, Kamara, pivot, and maybe Tillemans could play further forward. You don't know. So
yeah, throughout the pre-season, and Philogene, he did have some good games within that. Bailey, he's played 90 minutes in total. Yeah, we haven't seen enough.
Well, it's probably a bit more than that, isn't it? Did he play against Aston?
Yeah, so just over 90 minutes. Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
but we do miss the ball carrying ability, Jacob Ramsey. That's what's going to be the huge miss. He gets us up the pitch on that left hand side. We also miss the overlap in the pace of Moreno that he offers and the creative ability he offers getting into that space.
Yeah.
Now, whether Emery goes for a Digne and operates with two left-footed centre-backs, but it's a free with Konza at right back, or he goes the opposite way and plays Pau Torres there instead of a Digne.
Yeah.
It's interesting to know that we do have the options, even with the injuries. Even with the injuries currently, we still have a lot of options. It's going to be very interesting to see how Unai sets up.
I think if you ever did want to read between the lines on how Unai does feel about a Digne, the fact that he's had to switch his whole build-up to have the right back bombing forward and for Pau Torres to be tucking in, shows that he sees the difference in levels between a Moreno and a Digne. Well, so I think reading between the lines is just Emery's not going to come out and criticise Digne, but he's showing us, he's illustrating through his actions that he doesn't rate him as much as a Moreno from the pre-season games. I feel anyway. Yeah.
So let's look into that more in the signings, because we haven't been here for the summer. We've had it off. We haven't decided to pod. We thought, have a look what's going on at Villa and then come back in for a match preview. So let's talk about the signings then. So we'll start with Pau Torres, as that's the topic. 30, what we're looking at, was it 33 million euros?
Yeah.
Maybe just over that. He's coming to the side now. It was originally, I saw it as competition for the centre-back positions, as in the four, as in Konza, Mings, Carlos and Torres. You've got 2 right-footed, 2 left-footed. But now looking into it more, it does seem like Unai may have possibly brought him as an option to play in that left centre back role, operating on, in the free. And I think it's more clear. It's clearly coming out like that now. Whether that's initially because we had the Moreno injury as well, and we've brought him knowing that Moreno's going to be injured. Possibly, there's rumours that we've looked at getting rid of Digne, and there's been options suggested to replace Digne coming in. Do you see Pau Torres operating in that left centre-back role after playing a few games at left-back once Moreno's back, challenging Tyrone Mings and maybe displacing him? Or do you actually see him operating as the left-back throughout the season?
I personally, hoping that Moreno is still the same player, think this is just improvisation right now from Emery. He knows Moreno is his guy. Moreno's the one he likes to bomb forward, to be that creativity, to provide that creativity in the final third. So, I think what we're seeing right now is just improvisation. I do think Powell was brought in to be the new left centre-back, and maybe Emery could trust a Mings to receive on the right, but then be the centre-back, if that makes sense, in the free when we build, when Moreno pushes on. So, I think that's how I view Powell more. I know a lot of people have had some opinions on how Powell's looked in that left-back role in pre-season, and I think I do tend to agree with people saying that he has looked a bit uncomfortable.
He has looked very uncomfortable, especially dealing with someone trying to take him on and pacing behind.
The pace.
You can obviously see the pace. He doesn't have the legs.
It's when people on the blind side are running behind him, and he's got to trap back and then show some recovery pace and just turn. He's gonna take time to get used to. It's a different intensity. I know he hasn't played in the Prem yet, but when he does play in the Prem, I am holding off expectations right now for the first 10 games when he gets his rhythm in and understands how intense it really is. But another thing as well with that left back role, if you look when he receives on the touchline, he's already limited in his angle because he can't pass to the left. He's literally restricted by the confines of the pitch.
Where 100% with the angles he's at when he's receiving the ball. Whereas a Moreno, he has the ability to beat a man if he's in that situation. He's got the pace to come inside, or we've seen it enough times. Moreno's beat the right winger countlessly to get past them to bring the ball forward, or he has that Jacob Ramsey option, who can then transition with the ball. So he does restrict our movement with the ball in that section. Well, we're running with the ball anyway. We can still play out, but in that area, we're not going to be able to dribble out with the ball.
Whereas Pau in La Liga, if you'd think about it, he'd have the left and the right to choose from. So he had a lot more variety to the passes he could play. So I just think again, he's coming. It's a new role in a new team in a new country. It's of course it's gonna look a bit suspect at the moment. So, but my personal opinion is this is just improvisation from Emery until Moreno comes back. So,
it would be nice to see how it develops. It's gonna take time. He's got a real big test if he's starting first game of the season.
Would you prefer to see Mings on the outside?
If that was an option.
Or does
I don't know. I think Mings loses a bit if he's playing on the outside, to be honest.
Does he have to deal with Isaac?
Yeah, I think Mings has to play centre-back.
Centre-back.
Right. In the middle of the two.
Because he has played that position at Bournemouth before, hasn't he, really? If we're talking about positions on the pitch, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah. I'll go into my team later, but I'm not sure. I don't know if Powell starts. I don't know.
You don't know if Powell starts? Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if he starts.
I have him starting as it stands,
Yeah. But we'll go in. So we'll go into the midfield then. And one person who is pushing for a start, and that is Yuri Tillemans. He's had an outstanding pre-season. No drop in quality from what I've seen of the games he's played, where either Kamara or Luiz has been on the bench. Not saying he starts over them. I don't think that right now. But in pre-season, from the games I've watched him play, the quality hasn't dropped off at all. And he's been very good, very impressive. Looks fit, looks sharp, and he's always had the ability on the ball that's undeniable. Of all the years at Leicester, he's always been great on the ball. It's just about whether his defensive actions are up there, whether he can get around the pitch, whether he lacks, the engine to get around and get about the pitch. But he's looked fit as anything on the pitch so far in pre-season. And it's a fantastic addition for a free transfer. No drop-off in quality. Bolsters the squad. And if we do get an injury to one of those two, let's hope not. But if we do, there's someone in there who will push for a start and possibly start at some point this season and retain his position. But yeah, your thoughts on Yuri Tielemans so far this pre-season and going into the season?
Just on the ball, just quality. Like there was no transition period. There was no waiting. Or you can see what he's trying to do there, but he's not coming off. No, he was on the pitch first game. Everything was coming off. The way to pass, the vision, the ability to drop deep in the build and just carry the ball, like it was all there. And I know you can't go too much off pre-season, but yeah, as you said, the level in quality hasn't dropped. Like the floor's been raised at Villa in our midfield. The floor's the lowest quality player is an improvement now. So it's just how you build.
Would you even say 2 seasons ago, as a fan base, if you'd ask the fan base which was the weakest area, as a majority, they'd say the midfield.
Yeah, because it was.
Yeah, the midfield was the weakest area, and now I'd say it's our strongest. I feel like it's our strongest area, as in the quality. If you get an injury, there's no drop off in quality.
Yeah,
with those three anyway.
I know Emery doesn't see them really as centre midfielders, but I kind of see like Ramsey and McGinn still as centre midfielders. So if you think Ramsey, McGinn, Tielemans, Luiz, Kamara, and then Iwobi to come in as well, it's just levels.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the strength, and it's credit to I'll give that to the board and previous staff as well, because they've helped in getting in that quality as well, and we've just built on it and managed to retain them. We've had a few scares with players like Douglas Luiz. We've managed to retain them, and going forward, more experience playing together. That's just going to be ridiculous. Our midfield, and Yuri Tielemans just bolsters it, as I've said. And I'll be happy if he starts a game, or if he starts the weekend. That doesn't bother me at all. I think he's earned it, and if he doesn't start again, that doesn't bother me at all, because I know he'll come on and show his quality.
Would you have any worries about like the intensity, especially against like Newcastle, if he had to deal with that?
I don't watching through pre-season and seeing his quality. I don't know if the intensity is a myth. I don't know if it was more to do with the team Leicester had at the time, and the centre backs he was playing in front of, and Ndidi, I think, shot who he plays with. He's not the player he was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They had Dewsbury Hall. I suppose he gets about the pitch. But I don't know if it was the intensity. It was more the shape which Leicester set up in. Kind of left him in the open. With a Maddison, going supporting a Vardy or Iniacho. A Harvey Barnes who likes to get forward as well.
Yeah,
maybe the formation itself and Brendan Rodgers' tactics within that just exposed him. Whereas in an Emery system, I don't think you get exposed like that.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point, to be fair, because you're only as good as like the system and the players that are around you.
Exactly, and majority of players are system players. At the end of the day, you have a few, players who are just that level above who can float and drift around, but sometimes players, it's the system that they put in that affects their performances more than the player themselves. And I think that might be the case for Yuri Tielemans, and I do hope it's the case for Yuri Tielemans, and he comes into Villa and he just slots straight in. But yeah, that will be interesting, because obviously you can't get a more intense side, I don't think, in the league right now than Newcastle.
At their place. as well. It's like,
their intensity is a joke. And I've seen some quotes from their Amazon documentary in regards to, have you seen that, Eddie Howe?
I haven't seen it now. Why is it joke?
Speaking about, before that Man United game where they blitzed them in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Ten Hag made some comments regarding Newcastle and just how like their press is kind of like, I don't know if it was sarcastic at all, but he was basically putting pressure on them. And Eddie Howe was just like, yeah, if they want it intense, if they want us to come out flying out the traps, let's do it. And they did. So they're going to be up for it on Saturday.
But some of them work, some of them don't. Because I remember they had that 67 years without a trophy. One.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're still up there. I wonder if they still have to walk past that.
They might do. And they might use that as a, to try and win one this year. They might use that as, what would you say? A way to just, look at this. We need to win a trophy now. And I think ourselves and Newcastle are in the same position where we need trophies now. This is, we're at the highest points we've been in decades.
Yeah, something needs to represent it. I guess them qualifying for Champions League is probably a massive thing.
Yeah.
In terms of like their perception and like how they're feeling about their club and that. And it is impressive, to be fair. It is what they've done. It's mad. It's nice to see a change in teams and like the regular 6 that was before. But yeah, man, the game, I think it's going to be, especially with the way we might go into it now with our mentality in terms of like playing for Buendia and that whole like siege mentality approach that Emery might channel. I remember
he made comments about that today, didn't he?
Yeah, in his press conference, he was saying like we have to go and win for Buendia. So that's, I reckon, behind closed doors, that's the theme of the week. That's Emery's gonna change then, because players will be in shock, I think.
Yeah,
it's happened in training. Emery knows he has to get them out of that shock quick and back focus to the game on Saturday. So turn it into something positive. Let's try and play for Buendia. Let's try and give out all for Buendia and win for him. So.
Yeah, and before we go into like that, and there's another signing that we haven't spoken about, who's come straight into the team. It's Moussa Diaby. What have your thoughts been through pre-season of what you've seen of Moussa, and how do you think he will settle in to the Premier League? Because this is the big one. This is your record signing. This is, well, according to some reports, there were reports saying it wasn't, but the majority of reports saying it's the record signing. How does he slot into this Villa system? And what are your expectations of Moussa Diaby this season?
Well, I'll answer your first question. My first thought was electric. Wow. All the touches were crisp. Everything was right. The runs being made were correct. The finishing was sharp. I was like, yes, this is what we've lacked. 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm excited. I'm very excited for this signing.
Exciting, very, bro.
Highly coveted.
Like, you know what? Like,
the link. If you'd have told me before the summer we were signing a Moussa Diaby, I would have been like, yeah, you're joking. I didn't think we'd get that level of player. Even with the Conference League qualification, I thought we were the tier below. I didn't think we'd get that level of player.
We had a little scare as well in the whole
we did
process of signing that.
We did.
People did think at one point he was gonna go to Saudi, but
luckily
he's our player. He's a villain.
Mad.
And how I think he'll adapt to the system. I don't actually think Emery will be telling him to get on the ball that much. I think all his play will be quick, one touch, link up play, and as soon as you lay off the ball to a Douglas Luiz, to a McGinn, to a Ramsey in the future, or for right now, maybe a Bailey or whoever, you make that dive one in behind because you are rapid.
Yeah, he's rapid. He's absolutely rapid. It's
the thing about Diaby is he can give the defender the initial yard. Like he doesn't have to be matching or have a potential offside. He can time his runs well. He can dart past them, and he's gonna get chances, bro. I can't wait. I genuinely cannot wait.
One thing you said there, which I do agree with, is how he'll be limited on the ball. As in, Emery will say to Diaby, look, get as little touch as possible. We want you in behind. We want you on the end of things.
Yeah.
Does that change how Watkins operates for us, do you reckon?
I think there might be more responsibility for Watkins to be like the hold up
and go
combo
back to what he was under previous managers.
Yeah, but less running, I'd say.
Yeah,
He doesn't
because
have
obviously
to
Emery
stretch the pitch.
stated he wants Watkins at the end of things in the box, less running,
Yeah.
don't go to the channels. But if we're saying similar about Diaby, does that mean?
Speaking on Watkins, sorry, just a off point. Like I do think it's hilarious looking back. We had Watkins stretching the whole pitch, under Dino and Gerrard as the only outlet, having to play like hold up ball until the rest of the 9 players get up. And then people were wondering why his touch was so bad, or he's like he couldn't run with the ball. He was knackered.
Yeah.
60th, 70th minute. He's played like what most players would do in like 2 games in terms of like running wise.
We asked for a lot, especially when Grealish left. We asked for a lot of Watkins.
Yeah. So I think under Emery he will still be not too much movement waiting and that, but he'll have more responsibility in the build up, the link up play with McGinn and Tillemans or Louise, etc. But I think my initial impression of Diaby was he's going to hug the touchline in what Leon Bailey was doing on the right last season. If you notice, like Brendier would be the second striker and Bailey would hug the touchline.
Yeah.
But Diaby's not going to be the guy that's going to hug the touchline and run at a player and do a step over and get a cross in. Like he's more the second striker, in my opinion, in terms of how Emery's going to use him. Short term anyway.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be the runs in behind. So
yeah, I agree. I think that's how we will use him, and I think that's his best attribute. His killer speed and his finishing. And we've just got to get him in those positions where, at the weekend, possibly if it is a Dan Burn starting against a Diaby and he goes into that area and that channel, we have to make sure we put a ball in that direction.
Yeah.
And turn Dan Burn and attack through that space. Because Diaby, you don't catch Diaby, he's so quick. It's ridiculous how quick he is. And we did see that we saw that great ball from Douglas Luiz to Diaby for the Fulham goal.
Yeah.
We saw his instinctive finish as well against Brentford. It was great build-up play, got the ball to him. And the defender, was it Ben Mee who was there at that time? He possibly was.
Yeah, he might have
He couldn't even set his feet. He'd already cut inside before he'd realised and got a shot off. So he's the big player. He can transform us. With the quality we already have, Diaby can take us to the next level if we just have to get him involved in the games. Because I noticed against Valencia, he had limited involvement 100%. And that was no fault of his own. I think that was more the shape and the intensity and the pressure that Valencia were applying to us.
Yeah, 100%.
We're limited to getting the ball to him, and we can't really look to do that. Last season, when we did play players in that position, your Buendias, your Baileys, holding onto the ball was sometimes a struggle. It was difficult. Whether that was they were trying to do something or they just didn't have the capacity to hold onto the ball, they were getting dispossessed easily at times. And I think that's somewhere where we might change, as Diaby will not have the ball as much, and Watkins will be more involved with that, because Watkins' hold-up plays, it's brilliant. He's ridiculous.
When he's on it. Yeah, 100%. When he has to, and when he has to get his
so we might see a change in roles in that aspect, where we see from Watkins staying in the box, being told to stay in the box and stay around the 18. We might see him dropping a bit more again, and Diaby be used to play after the last one.
I think as a fan, like any Villa fan listening in now, can be excited that we always have like this trump card, in the sense that we have someone so electric that can run in behind, that at any moment we'll have a goal for it. Yeah. Any moment now we'll go for it.
Yeah, you have every team has them. Saka's, Martinelli's. You have Rashford's.
Yeah, Salah as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Salah, Sterling. These players who can just do something out of nothing, might not be having the best game, but they're just so electric that they just catch you off guard and it's a goal. And I think
I do think that's going to be a narrative of Diaby next season. Not Bailey, Diaby. I do think he's going to be isolated in some games. He's not going to have that many touches, and then fans will leave the stadium just be like, I don't think he actually had a good game, but he's made the difference. Like that's what he's been signed for.
That's what I feel he will be like. I think he'll be more numbers and he's impacting the game.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for as well. I do hope he does have the impact, but I hope he has those numbers where we win, 2-1, 1-0, and it's just a Diaby, and he's not really seen much of the ball or done much out, but he scored the crucial goal. Or got
One
the
thing I
crucial
will say on Diaby though that I was worried about is defensively. I think he has to improve.
Yeah,
His off the ball work, his positioning, his shadowing, all that good stuff. But that's why I'm a bit more relieved McGinn is on the right to cover that position rather than Bailey being on the right. Or I know he's injured now, but like Buendia as well, who can sometimes before lose his head a bit if he doesn't win his duel. So I think McGinn there, he gives us that structure. And I think Emery trusts that structure as well, especially when you have Cash bombing forward.
Yeah.
You're gonna need Konza. Konza can cover defensively as well. 1v1s. There's even been an interview saying he's improved his 1v1 game, his positioning and stuff. But yeah, I think McGinn as well. It's a massive help to have, right, man. We have a plan, bro. I think again, Villa fans listening, we have a plan.
Yeah.
Like
it's
every game, like I can trust it.
And this is the thing when we go into the Newcastle preview in a bit more detail. The plan the last game was so obvious, and we'll go into it about McGinn on Dan Burn in that area, and it was just working ridiculously well. And that will be something of interest if we go for that same plan, considering we're going to be operating from a different side of the pitch in our build-up. So that could, the way we were isolating Dan Burn with McGinn in that game, even though we were still isolating him, then getting the ball to the left as quick as possible to use Moreno.
Yeah.
How does that impact now that we possibly going to be operating down the right-hand side with Cash? Does that change that whole pattern of play and that whole plan that we had that worked so well against Newcastle at home, which is interesting.
It's a good point.
Which is really interesting, because if we are going to attack from that right-hand side, which we rarely did, the only thing we did was we'd use Emi Martinez's long balls to McGinn, where he'd hold off Dan Burn, he'd either win a free kick or he'd be able to lay it off, and then we could build on that left-hand side. That's going to be the interesting thing for me. And going into McGinn more and his pre-season as well, the pockets of space he's been picking up throughout pre-season, it's been ridiculous. He's been so good. And the way we've been just cutting apart teams, whether now that's because it was pre-season and, players aren't at full fitness, but through every game, there's points in time where Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings, Dougie Luiz have played the ball through the middle, and there's just been yards of space, and McGinn's just had the freedom to do what he likes, and he's been picking out the balls. That's the thing. He's been getting the ball, and he's been finding the players, which is really good. Especially with, was it the Cash goal against Brentford? He got into that pocket of space from a Douglas Luiz ball, and he just found Cash, and Cash cut inside and scored.
Yeah.
Simple build-up of phases. So, yeah, what do you think McGinn's role will be this season? And then let's look more into it. What do you think his role is going to be against Newcastle?
Well, I think his role this season, he's going to be higher up. He's going to be the connector between our midfield and Diaby. He's going to vacate that right space for Diaby to make them runs in behind with Cash holding the width. So I just think quick passes, attacking the box from when one of our players has it on the other side, maybe whichever winger we're playing, if we are playing Bailey or if we are playing Philogene in that role on the left. So yeah, I want to see McGinn attacking the box a lot more, because when he doesn't have to think about the finish first time, he's quite good. Remember some of his goals in that 1920 season, etc. But
McGinn, I feel like McGinn, how good he's been. There's another level. There's 10 goals in McGinn. There is 10 goals in McGinn in the league. Yeah. It's there.
If you're the right mid-10 in this system, you have to. I know he's providing for the team, he's a cog in the system more so than anything. But yeah, he has to get his output up now if he's playing at advanced. I feel, especially against teams.
He's been excellent. He's been excellent under Emery in that right wing, right midfield channel. He's been so good. And I think he has the ability to increase his output, whether that be a goals and assists. And I think he knows that as well.
Yeah,
I think we'll see that.
But what I love about McGinn is just how he receives the ball. He just knows, he senses danger. He knows how to position his body, which might have been coached by Emery. Because I know defenders talk about changing their shape to run back and chase after the ball. So maybe the midfield's been coached as well. How to shape your body to receive, how to use your body. McGinn was always
he's always had that, but he was using it a lot more last season.
He might have been refined this season, bro. Like genuinely, he looks sharp.
He looks sharp. That's do you remember the Spurs home game? And he wasn't even operating off the right; he was operating in centre midfield, and they couldn't get the ball off him. It was
different. He's gone up. He's gone up levels.
He has. And he was one. I'll be honest. He was one I thought. McGinn, yeah, his forms under Gerrard, his form's not there.
He was poor.
Yeah, it's time to go. McGinn will have to find an improvement, and he shut me up. That's for sure, because he was one of our best players when under Emery. He was up there, and I can't wait to see what he does going into this season. Just a thought. There's one player we haven't mentioned. When you were discussing about Diaby's defensive work, when Dia gets about the pitch, he really puts in a great effort defensively in that. Bailey, I think, to his credit, does as well, but I think that gets missed a lot by Villa fans. But I think he does put in a shift.
You don't really know what you're going to get with Bailey. Sometimes he's like energized for the draw, and other times you can let his man just pass him and like do like a kind of like nonchalant shrug. So it's like
but I do think he does his defensive work and he gets into position. Maybe loses the ball easily when he has the ball, which he does. But one player who's come back into the fold had a decent 45, maybe some would say ridiculously good 45 against Valencia. Came on against Lazio as well, and that's Philip Coutinho. Now, my last memory in the league of Philip Coutinho was that Arsenal game, and he scored a great goal. Defensively, he was getting into position. I recall against Leeds as well. He was getting into position really well. He was operating well in the defensive shape. He wasn't being lazy at all. Do you see a place for Philip Coutinho in the starting lineup on the weekend?
In the starting lineup?
Yeah.
No, not in there. I wouldn't say I'll be comfortable with starting Coutinho away at Newcastle with the intensity. No.
Yeah.
No, not for me. What about you?
No, not for me. Not for me either. But there'll be fans saying he deserves to start. I know there will be fans saying he deserves to start. I'm not for me. Not for me just yet. Impact player, yeah. But do you see him staying?
It's just Coutinho is just such a fascinating player. I think, like looking at it, because he is arguably quality-wise the best player in the team.
Without
like,
that, he's the best player. Without that,
quality-wise.
Without that,
I've never not said this. Quality-wise, he's. But what you got to think about, for me personally, is one, the game's changed massively tactically, intensity-wise since he was at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Two, how does that impact his availability? Like, is he going to keep going through these moments in the season where we miss him because he can't keep up with like the league? It's too much for him, especially with added games now. So I don't know. It just feels like
do you see him as a confidence?
You can't enjoy what you don't have. You can't enjoy what you don't have. Like, we know his quality, we know his talent, but if he's not available, if the league's too intense for him, I just think of what's the opportunity cost here of us keeping Coutinho or going out into the market and buying a top player. Like, there's a couple of players that have gone in the market where I would have thought, I wouldn't have minded him at Villa, but we can't because we've got Coutinho still here. We can't move him on. His wages are really high. No one really wants to take that risk. So I don't know if the window comes and he's here, then I'll back him. I could see him playing some conference games.
Of course, we'll back. Yeah, if he does stay, what's his involvement? Is it Cups, Conference League, and then coming on 2030 in the Premier League, or is he a starter? Because let's not forget he was starting for Villa before he got injured.
How many games did he start though under Emery? I know he started against Arsenal.
That's a big game to be starting.
He started against Arsenal because Emery was doing that Buendia think Ramsey on the bench, which was quite weird.
Yeah, I think he was.
I think Ramsey had just come back from injury though.
Yeah,
that's why Coutinho was starting. Ramsey had come back from injury.
So you're putting it more on Ramsey injury than Emery?
I'd say he took his chance.
Yeah,
I'd say he took his chance. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. It is, and I think that's an opinion divider within the Villa fan base. I really do.
I do think at times like that idea of Coutinho is better in people's minds than what we actually
the player
see. Like,
is now.
Just gives glimpses, but like a glimpse is enough. Like for a player on like his money, and us not going out and getting like a different number 10. I'm not sure. Like I saw Bournemouth today, like who they signed with Alex Scott. Like I would have loved Alex Scott, like the potential in that kind of player. And I know he's new to the Premier League, but I just think sometimes, are we missing out on these profiles because we have someone on his type of wages? So it's interesting. Yeah. If he stays, I'll back him, and I look forward to seeing him playing in the Cup and Conference and in the Prem. But no doubt about it, his quality, he has the most quality in the squad.
For sure. He's the best technical player. If they all had the same, like Pez back in the day. They all had all on red.
It's all on red. He starts every single game.
Yeah, but his body's he's not the same player. He's not the same player he was at Liverpool. And sometimes you see a trick or you see a moment of magic, Steven Gerrard, and you think, has he still got it? But I'm not so sure. And I'm not convinced that his body won't just break down after a game.
You can see it sometimes, and it's like devastating because his mind's sharp, and you just know he hasn't got that extra yard to do what he's trying to do, and you just think, man, if your body weren't letting you down just a bit slightly, some of the things we'd see on the pitch. But I don't know if we're playing like teams, like no disrespect to like some of the promoted teams that have come up, or teams happy to sit in their block when who have no transitional threat.
Yeah, if you need someone to break them down. Yeah, if we're playing with 20 men in their half.
That would normally be Buendia as well, but if Buendia's out, then I could totally see him filling in, like, to try in the pockets, just doing his little link up, his little jinx that like Martinez used to talk about, like when he's at bowling, he'd even do them little feints and stuff like.
It's the samba. It's a samba flowing through him. Bro. That's what it is, man. Trust me. Yeah, so
I just never thought I'd be saying, "Oh, is Coutinho good enough for Aston?"
I know. And, I never thought we'd be at that level. Where
like he's not 37; he's 31 or 32. Yeah. Like he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That shows the direction the club's going in, and long may it continue. So let's go to the game. Firstly, Newcastle, as we said, they'll be up for it. Quick one on them. What do you think of their signings? Tonali, Harvey Barnes, Livramento. Is that it? Is there anyone else who got in?
I'll start on the reason. I think Livramento is a quality signing.
Yeah, he's a quality player. He's a quality player.
He was one of the players that I wouldn't have minded like filling either left back, right back for us.
Yeah.
Even after that ACL, I think it was ACL. Was it an ACL injury? He was out for a while.
It was a big one. I don't know if it was an ACL. I'm not too sure, but it was a big one.
But they've paid a lot of money, but I think that's more to do with Chelsea having a sell-on clause.
Yeah,
that's why Southampton wanted like more of a fee to get more of a share. But
Southampton commanded a good fee, but he's a good player at the end of the day, and it's just, what's he like now?
Yeah,
I think he's fine. I remember he did come back. I think we were discussing this off air before. He did come back to Southampton, didn't he? And he didn't look like he lost the step. So I'm sure he's back to it. So that's a great sign.
Well, isn't he like 20, 19? 20?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculously young. That Chelsea influx of right back through their academy was a joke.
Crazy conveyor belt, man.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about Tonali?
The big signing, huge money. Someone had, I used to consider to be that great Italian player. Was it Brescia?
You got your Milan biases as well.
Yeah, I do like Milan. When Milan signed him, I thought, he'd be the one who'd stick around for a decade and lead him back to the top of Serie A and Champions League glory. Yeah, that was a shocker for me. That was the one player I did not envisage leaving Milan, no matter what the money. I thought they'd be looking to build the team around him.
Yeah.
But yes, massive fee, Italian international. I don't know how Newcastle fans feel, and probably Newcastle fans might be watching this, but is that the position, the type of player, those attributes that they thought they were going into the market to look for?
Yeah, it's
I
interesting.
always imagined that they'd be pushing Bruno Guimaraes further forward. That's what I thought the plan was, and they'd be signing a more
like a Booba, like a Boubacar type player, like for the
defensively set midfielder, and
like even Edson Alvarez, that type of player, like Edson Alvarez for them, like someone like that. Yeah, like,
even a Declan. They have supposedly they're in the restrictions of FFP, but I'm sure they could have got a Declan Rice.
Yeah, they could have
offered the money for a Declan Rice. Don't know whether about getting him, but I don't know if Tonali was the profile their fans were thinking they were going to sign. Great player, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to be interesting to see how it's going to work, because obviously it does mean that probably Bruno will be sitting deeper in the three, and Joelinton and Tonali will be used as 2/8s.
But it's going to be interesting to see if he even starts against us, because some Newcastle fans seem convinced that Longstaff's their starter with Joelinton and Bruno.
Longstaff missed the game against us, didn't he? At home.
Did he?
And a lot of Newcastle fans, I remember from after that, were saying he was a massive, massive loss.
Yeah.
And whenever he was missed last season, they really felt the effects of it. So yeah, Sean Longstaff, I think he will start. I think you're right. I
wouldn't be surprised to see if Tonali doesn't start.
Yeah. It's interesting because they've got a few names that last season, midway through the season, you'd be like starting a Callum Wilson. I don't know if a Callum Wilson starts now.
Yeah. Well, they can play Isak off the left and then maybe Wilson up front, or just Isak as a central player.
Yeah, but Callum Wilson would have been, if he weren't injured, he's starting last season.
Yeah.
And he's just slowly been, pushed out the side. And if it's possible, they start a Harvey Barnes.
What do you think of that signing?
It's Harvey Barnes is a weird one. He's because he has the output, the numbers are there. He does produce. He'll get 10 goals a season, decent amount of assists as well. But I think he'll be great for Newcastle. I don't know if, because there was links with us to Harvey Barnes. I don't think he was a player for us.
He's going to run in behind, and he's in behind,
which I think Newcastle are looking for. I think that's the type of players they're looking for. In behind,
I don't think he's the guy to break down someone sitting in their shape, do some dribbles or stuff like that. But in terms of running in behind into acres, he's going to be the outlet.
I don't really think he's a ball progressor, and that's how we like to operate on the left side. Like a player can progress the ball. If it was a Buendia or a Ramsey, that's one of their main attributes. And I don't think that's Harvey Barnes. I think Harvey Barnes is more, you want to get him in the box, 1 touch, 2 touch, get him in behind, get a shot off. And that's how I think they'll use him. And same as they've used with Almiron. They've just said, get inside, touch, get a shot off. And I think that's how they use Harvey Barnes on the other side. But they've also got Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, Barnes is dangerous. I am conscious if Barnes. I know, like you just said, Gordon there, he could start as well, and I could play Isak in the middle and Almiron on the right. But yeah, they got options, man. But yeah,
Barnes, Joe Willock.
He's injured, bro.
Is he injured? Is he?
Yeah, he's recovering from a hamstring injury.
He was integral to him last season as well. Another one. It was great. Jacob Murphy.
I think their injury doubts. I know Emil Kraft and Willock are confirmed out by Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
So they're definitely out. And then Shah is interesting because I think that's
an interesting one.
Yeah, because he is massive for Newcastle.
Yeah. That Shah-Botman partnership was incredible, really fantastic. It was fantastic from last year. Best defensive record in the league.
Were they the best at conceding quality chances? Did they have the best?
I'm not too sure. Is that the case? Have you seen that somewhere?
I think they were up there though. Like they hardly conceded like that many quality, apart from when they played us. Like
Yeah, that was an anomaly for them last season. It was
that
game
was today. Yeah,
it was an anomaly. But yeah, they signed Nick Pope and brought in Trippier as well. Moved Dan Burn to the left back, and that Button and Shaw partnership was ridiculous. And it is interesting who does come in. Do they?
Yeah.
Does Dan Burn go centre back?
Because Burn wasn't seen in training.
Or does Lascelles come in?
Burn wasn't seen in training this week as well. So
was he not?
No, but I don't know if he was doing an interview or if he's injured or whatever. But
okay. Yeah,
it's either Lascelles comes in for Shaw, or they play Burn, as you said, centre back, and then play Target, or play Livramento.
Livramento, has he played any minutes at all? Has he?
Nah, but Howe said he's ready, like he can play. So
you never know. He might just slot into left back.
Diaby versus Livramento. That'll be interesting from the jump, and that'll be a good battle, man.
Yeah, so that will be interesting because the Shaw. Obviously, I think Botman's a better player. And I think Botman would be a bigger loss if he's missing. But Shaw was just as good in that centre-back partnership.
100%. So and they got him for cheap as well, they did. He's a good signing.
Very good signing. Swiss international, very good player.
Good player.
Can strike him as well. Fabian Shaw, can't he?
Yeah, good player.
That if we can exploit that injury, that will be the area we'll be looking to do that with Diaby and Watkins. But yeah, interesting. So going into that then, what's your lineup? What's your starting 11 for the game?
My starting 11 will be Martinez in goal.
Yeah.
Powell left back. Mings left centre back. Konza right centre back. Cash right back. Tillemans and Kamara pivot.
Yeah.
Louise further forward. McGinn on the right. Watkins Diaby. I know we haven't played it in pre-season, but I just think in terms of security, in terms of like playing the quad midfield against the intensity of Newcastle, I think it could work.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know if we go for the free centre-back swing against Newcastle. I'm not so sure. I know that's our build-up and how we play, but I'm not so sure because of the pace that Newcastle operate with and the intensity that they do. We're going to have to be on our toes in those full-back areas. So I'm not so sure Torres starts. And I'm not so sure Konza plays right back either. What's that, sorry? What do you say?
Would you not think... No, I'm not saying Konza right back. Konza right centre-back.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's either... If we're going to play the free, it's either Konza goes to right back and you have Torres and Mings in the centre, or it's Konza, Mings, and Torres plays left back. I don't know. I got a funny feeling Cash and Digne might both start. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope not, man.
I've got a feeling, but
because I was thinking Torres, he might be a bit suspect.
But it was how it looked against Valencia. It did not look.
You can defend in a 5 and a 6 though against Newcastle if you have Dougie and McGinn dropping deepest. Like a 5 at least, 6 if it's like needs must, innit?
Yeah, but then the mobility on that left-hand side, we've got Buendia injured as well, who is aggressive in tracking and defensively astute. I don't know if we're going to let Torres get exposed like that on that left hand side.
I'd say Dougie's an upgrade on Buendia defensively.
That's if he plays Dougie, then yeah, possibly. But I don't even know if we haven't seen that either in pre-season, so I don't even know if we're going to do that anyway.
Yeah. But we didn't have the Buendia ACL in it. That's why I think I think he's going to be thinking about it right now. Do I play Bailey or do I just play Louise further forward?
But
I don't think Philip Jim.
The same could go for a Digne starting.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Yeah, I don't know because.
So what's your team?
Bailey Torres down that left hand side did not look. It didn't look right. It looked like it could get very, very easily exposed because Bailey's not as defensively minded as, say, a Buendia would be or a Ramsey would be.
Yeah. But I think personally, Digne would struggle in that. I think Villa fans have this idea of Digne as some Villa fans, not all Villa fans, some Villa fans have this idea of Digne being the defensive right back?
No, not at
Really?
all. I just think he's more comfortable in that position. That's all I'm going for. I think he's more comfortable playing there than the Torres is. Torres looked really out of sorts in that position, and it's going to take him time. And I don't know if the time to throw him in there in the league is Newcastle away. I don't know. I think Everton at home is the time to bring Torres in. So I think it's. I do like the idea of Dougie on the left. I do like that idea.
So you'd have Digne pushing forward with Cash tucking in?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So you'd be Digne left back and then Cash would be part of the three.
But I think Emery just doesn't feel like Digne going forward is worth the risk.
Nor do I.
Whereas Cash might. I don't think Cash.
I don't think Digne's good at times getting the ball in from deep positions, but
yeah, I agree.
Beating a man and being used, he's not Alex Moreno. He's nowhere near that.
No, you can't attack the box.
No, but I do think it's a needs must.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Do we need a new fullback, man? This is what I'm thinking. Like,
we do need a new full. We need another fullback when Ashley Young left.
Yeah, man. Like that right side, like it's mad.
And Ashley Young, he'd still cover for the left side as well. So yeah, I felt we needed a new fullback anyway, and with Moreno being injured, so yeah.
Montiel's the recent link, isn't he?
I have seen the Montiel links, yeah.
Yeah, that was a rumor today. That people signed for Almeria, isn't it? So.
Yeah, that'd be great. You have the Fresneda ones as well.
Fresneda, yeah.
It looks like he's going.
Kyle Walker-Peters, I wouldn't mind, man. I wouldn't mind.
I'd take Kyle Walker-Peters. I would. I think he's a great option. I think he's a Premier League level player for sure. He's not a Championship player, and I'm surprised he hasn't got the move. But yeah,
yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, man. I think.
Yeah, definitely is. But yeah, I'd say I think it's going to be Digne, Mings, Konza, Cash, McGinn, Dougie, Kamara. This I don't know. Actually, I don't know. The more you said about Douglas Luiz playing off the left and playing the free, it's more that's like coming to my thinking. I don't know that left midfield. I don't know what he's going to do there.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what he's
surely he's not going to try some three at the back randomness as well for the first game of the season.
Because I don't think he's going to play Philogene and Digne.
You don't think he's going to play Digne?
What's that?
You don't think he's going to play Digne?
No, Philogene with Digne. See, going back on it, you know what? I think, you might have more reasoning for Torres. Thinking about it, if he was to even go for Philogene, he'd go Torres. I think.
It's mad, isn't it? It's
and then Watkins and Diaby up front. But that left-hand side, that's a real sticky situation.
Do you know who could fill in that left-hand side? Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's on his way, isn't he?
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think of that move? Then moving on to the. Actually, before we go, what's your score prediction?
I'd take a 1-1.
Yeah.
I'd take a 1-1.
I'm going to go with 1-1 as well.
Yeah. I'd definitely 1-1. Take a point. Let's go against Everton.
Yeah. A draw would be nice going into that Everton game, I think.
Yeah.
I think, I said when the fixture came out, I'd take a draw, man, because that place is just... I don't think it's defeatist. I just think it's something to build on.
I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic. Right now.
A draw against Newcastle away is something to build.
It's a huge point. It's a great start to the season for me.
Yeah,
it really is. And you build from there.
I'd take that. Unless it's like some 105th equaliser, then forget that. But yeah, anything else, I'm calm.
Yeah. More news then going into Aaron Ramsey and Cameron Archer. Obviously, Aaron Ramsey looks like he's going to Burnley, 14 million. Is that add-ons included?
No, it's 14 with add-ons.
With add-ons, so
you don't know what those
really good for
England calls up could be in those add-ons and stuff. So
yeah.
Certain amount of
is there a buyback? Is that confirmed yet? Or
most of the reports are saying there'll be a buyback. And Emery today in his conference was just like, the plan is to let these players go. We'll watch them, and then if they're good enough, we'll buy them back. So
yeah,
Emery seems like he's been told there's a buyback.
yeah.
Villa and buybacks, man. I don't recognise my club. Like we're moving different.
I know. That is operating like a big club, isn't it? That is what
it is different, man.
Operating like a big club is all about.
I don't mind. I don't mind it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I see the logic. I see the logic in it, and I do think they're better than loans because you do get the cash injection up front. You get the wages off the books completely. You get Burnley psychologically are more likely to play a player that they've paid a big fee for than someone that's on loan as well. I think that's what Villa were frustrated with. Like Norwich last season had Aaron Ramsey on loan. Like, okay, this kid's on loan. We haven't really paid much for him. We'll just dismiss him. Whereas Burnley are going to feel more obliged to pay. They have a sunk cost. They've paid the money. So that's why I do think psychologically they are better than loans as well.
For sure, definitely. And he's getting first team football for a Premier League side as well. So we'll really see the level he can get to and the level he's at. That's what the big thing is for me. And it's not alone. We're seeing him at a Premier League club and it's not alone.
Yeah, it's not alone. He's going to be a Burnley player and it's on us whether we activate the buyback clause in whenever it comes into play.
Yeah.
Interesting. We played them third game at their place. Just some more context and narrative to the story, man. Like, it's crazy. Ashley Young returning for Everton, Aaron Ramsey for Burnley. Like, what next?
It is interesting indeed. Right. That's it. Gonna wrap it up. Thanks for everyone for listening. If you give it a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts about the Newcastle game, and if you could subscribe as well. We're back now. Season's in full flow, match previews, match reactions. We'll be doing a match reaction to the Newcastle game as well. Ads, thanks for joining me.
What's your target likes for the video? What how many likes would you want for the video?
I'd like 50 likes. That would be nice.
Let's get it to 50 likes.
50 likes would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, just getting people to see the channel and just getting it out there. That's what we're trying to do. So if you do like it, if you could give it a like and share and subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. Thanks again, bro. And up the Villa. Let's hope we can get a win. I'm saying a draw. Bro said a draw, but let's hope we can get a win. And if we do that, what a start that is.
Up the Villa, man. Up the Villa. Great talking to you, bro.
And you.